Hey everyone, it's ENDYMION, and today it's time to talk about Warhammer 40K news from new projects that are being announced. And the game is previewing very positively, it seems, and Games Workshop seems to have gone too far and actually tried to silence voices for speaking on their content, which is a big reason why I'm making this video in the first place. Beyond that, I need to talk about this dumpster fire called Dustborn that looks so bad that you just gotta see it to believe it. And then we'll finish with some commies that are hating on Batman because why not, but alright, first, let's get into Warhammer 40k. We'll start with the good news first. Obviously, I've been reporting pretty regularly on the state of Warhammer's live action series and whether it's actually coming or not. In case you forgot or don't know, there was doubt being claimed that Henry Cavill's Warhammer live action series would actually end up not happening at all. This is because the deal that was signed between Amazon and Games Workshop would only last, according to what sources say, for upwards of a year at best. And unless something was actually formed and pen was actually put to paper in creating something, this deal could fall through. Which would basically take all of this hype we have here surrounding this potential massive live action series of projects and then throwing them into the warp, never to be seen again. This is not good, and as of right now, we don't know the exact state of Henry Cavill's series that he is spearheading himself. But there may be hope just yet. So, there's a new anthology series coming to Amazon Prime called Secret Level. I can't really show you the trailer because Amazon will absolutely copyright strike this video into oblivion if I do show it. But if you've ever seen Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix, which is an anthology series of various animations and so on, it's from the same producers and such that made that show, but instead of being totally original works of animation, each episode of this Secret Level series is actually based on various video game franchises instead. So there's an entire episode about Armored Core, for example, with Keanu Reeves starring in it, and another has Kratos and it looks like Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima, which has fans believing that that one is a PlayStation All-Stars-esque episode, which would be very cool. And another is confirmed to be Warhammer 40k. Again, these episodes don't come out on Prime until December 10th. But I will be definitely checking out these because of course I want to see what they come up with when it comes to each game franchise that's a part of this. According to Forbes, the games that will have their own episodes include Pac-Man, Warhammer, Concord, Mega Man, Unreal Tournament, New World, Eternus, Armored Core, Spelunky, Honor of Kings, Sifu, Dungeons & Dragons, The Outer Worlds, Crossfire, Exodus, and the PlayStation 1, which, like I said, looks like the All-Stars games pretty much. I think this is a really cool idea for an anthology series, and I would love to see more stuff like this happen. Because I would love a 20-minute Final Fantasy short film, or something like Dark Souls or Bloodborne getting explored like this as well. Oh man, imagine if they did one on Elden Ring, that'd be so sick. But I think this really opens up the creative avenues for what artists and creators could make going forward. And obviously these shorts featured would be smart to cross-promote whatever games are coming out too, because like I said in that list, that Concord is also going to be there, which has since released as of the making of this video. And obviously the Warhammer short is coming out once Space Marine 2 would have launched, which again is also smart. Many fans of Warhammer are wondering if the IP being involved with Amazon's Secret Level series means that the partnership is tied to the original deal. And you know, the whole Henry Cavill thing. Apparently, it has nothing to do with it. According to Games Workshop's own website, where they announced their partnership with Secret Level, you can read at the very bottom of the post where it says, "This standalone animation is a separate project from the Warhammer 40,000 TV and film projects we've previously announced. Those are still in development. We'll share more news about them as soon as we can." So this is one of those, well, yes, but actually no situations. The good news, at least, is that Games Workshop is confirming that their negotiations and such with Amazon are not over just yet. And by the time this Warhammer short debuts on December 10th, that's like 2 weeks away before their deadline ends for the partnership. So it seems very likely, at least, that the live action series is still a go, although if I were either party involved, I would confirm that the deal is sealed and going forward 100%. If anything, just to ease fans' nerves and get them hyped for the future, but it's very, very cool that we're getting some very high quality animated shorts based on beloved video games. Well, mostly beloved, but I hope to see more stuff like this in the future. Could be really awesome to see what else they could make. Next is that Space Marine 2 is very close to releasing as of the making of this video, and it's likely going to be one of the very few rare Western releases this year that ends up going ultra instinct in terms of sales and player interest as well. Every single preview for this game, it seems to be glowing, and that's a really great thing to see. VG247, for example, their article, which is titled Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 feels like a lost Xbox 360 game, and I mean that in the best possible way. The game's various previews call Space Marine 2 their next obsession, and they shower the game with praise, saying that every single mechanic within feels confident and executed like a well-oiled machine. The previewer for VG247 also said that they were having so much fun with what they were given to play that they actually tried to glitch the preview demo into just maybe somehow breaking it so that they could access more of the game, but it wasn't possible, obviously. But hey, that's a really good sign if people playing your preview are trying to break your demo for the sole intention of getting to play it more. I call that an absolute win for Focus and Saber. They also claim that the game has competent AI companions to help you in the campaign, and that they're designed well enough that they never really get in your way, and they only help you if you ask for it. Like for example, if you're down but you're not out, your AI buddies can run over and revive you. But they're obviously not going to be as strong or efficient as having other real players with you, which that of course would be more of a multiplayer thing, which Space Marine is full of too. From all the previews that I was reading, the multiplayer and campaign missions, they do seem to be more linear based, which of course they don't have access to every mission, so this could vary based on what mission you're doing, but personally I don't really find that to be a problem either way. Because I think making things a little too open will just lead to players feeling astray as they shoot creepy crawlies. And I do think that focusing the player and friends into a more singular vision is probably the right way to go. In a lot of ways, the multiplayer side of Space Marine 2, it looks like a hybrid mix of Helldivers 2 meets Destiny's Strike mission structure. Which personally, I think this all sounds great to me. I just hope, unlike Destiny's Strikes, that Space Marine 2 finds a way to reuse maps in clever ways to create various missions and similar biomes. Because I would not be as happy if every mission was its own map, and then if you replay it for rewards, then the same characters say the same lines over and over again, kind of like what Destiny 2 does. Although I doubt that's the case here, and it's really nice to see that most of what Saber is going for here when it comes to Space Marine 2 is just setting up that game to be a mega success. Like I said before in other videos, that Space Marine 2 is in the perfect position to double jump off of Helldivers 2's success and fall as a live service effectively, and then taking its momentum and then just running away with it. Because not only does Space Marine 2 have obvious franchise tie-in with lore and whatnot, but since Helldivers 2 has all but shat the bed in every sense since release, Space Marine 2 could eat Helldivers' lunch and really capitalize on the empty void that is left in Helldivers' downfall. Long story short, Space Marine 2 has the meat and the skeleton that's sturdy enough to really make this game sing and explode in sales and popularity. And honestly, I really hope that they do stick the landing, because I don't want this game to be bad or anything at all. Sure, some may say, well, if it's bad, you can make videos on it, but if you look at my channel, I praise plenty of games too when they do the right things for players as well. Hell, my most popular video is about why Elden Ring is so good that it pissed off Western developers. What I'm trying to say is positivity is great, and I desperately want Space Marine 2 to hit the landing, and I am hoping that the game has no identity politics or punching down of any kind, and the creatives that are involved just focus in entirely on the grim dark fantasy wish fulfillment side of the equation, and then they just deliver a balls to the wall rip and tear good time, because if this game ends up doing just that, this could become the next big thing, and I'm not even kidding. Think about it, dude. Besides Helldivers practically crapping the bed and rolling in it, Destiny has also fallen off despite the final shape launching recently as well. I mean, Destiny 2 has had some of the lowest player counts when it comes to Trials of Osiris, which if you don't know is Destiny 2's big endgame PvP mode, where the hardcore players all kill each other for rewards. So I think it's very clear that there is a hunger for something that can both satiate the hardcore PvP players, as well as those who just want to co-op, run around with your friends, shooting stuff, power fantasy, and all of that. But I do think that Space Marine 2 is uniquely qualified to hit all of these targets and have a campaign that hopefully satiates the lore hounds and the fans of the Grim Dark. So to say that Space Marine 2's future could be brighter than 1,000 suns, that is no understatement. We may very well be witnessing the birth of the greatest Warhammer game ever conceived, and I really hope that they don't do anything to derail this. I pray that there's no female Space Marine reveal in the campaign, or a custody who's also a woman showing up randomly either, or whatever else that could have happened. Imagine if the campaign says that you play as Titus and then he dies after the first mission, and now you're a non-binary they-them instead, because stuff like that could really derail this game. Pretty much, let's just hope that Space Marine 2 doesn't crap its pants and pull a Last of Us Part 2 on fans in any way. Because if they do anything like that, oh, there will be hell to pay. But now let's get into the bad news, and this is very shady and not good at all of Games Workshop to do. This comes from that Park Place. Games Workshop falsely copyright strikes Warhammer 40K critic who reported on woke activists trying to cancel Space Marine 2. So what the hell is happening? Well, as you likely know, Space Marine 2's older build did get leaked online a little while back. I won't share any info about it or anything like that, but anyway, John Della Raz, who also makes content, was talking about that situation but didn't actually show any footage or anything like that, and then this led to Games Workshop issuing a copyright strike against his channel. Which, if you don't know, if it happens multiple times, your channel just gets terminated. Here's what he said via Twitter. Games Workshop copyright struck my video, which only showed reactions on X of people trying to cancel the Space Marine 2 video game because a Russian programmer worked on it. I also showed their Twitter post reacting to a leaked version of the game. I had no video gameplay or anything in it. They're trying to remove critics, spread the word. My guess is the reason why they copyright striked his video, and I could be wrong here by the way, but I wager it's because he had Space Marine 2 and leak in the video title. And it's very likely that this pinged Games Workshop and they probably thought that John Della Raz was speaking about the content within the leak in his video. And it's probably likely that they didn't even watch his video either, because a lot of the time when this happens, it's usually because whoever issues it is lazy and never actually looks for any context. It's sort of like how people just react to a news story based on the title without reading the actual article itself. I mean, you've seen that happen dozens of times yourselves online, I'm sure. The article could say like, Brad Pitt suplexes a child through solid pavement. And the actual article could just say that, hey, this is a joke, and then dozens of people would read the title and go, I always knew he was a villain. Who suplexes a kid through solid pavement? That kid's family should sue. And it's kind of unfortunately the nature of the internet at large. It's very rampant across Facebook too. I mean, if you have any older relatives, you likely know this, that they always fall for this sort of stuff. They'll tell you nonsense like, oh my god, Elvis messaged me on Messenger. He's alive. Oh my god, Elvis, I knew it. I knew he wasn't dead. He says he needs $500 to release his new album. I gotta send him money. Where's my purse? And unfortunately, this kind of crap always happens and people react to stuff without knowing the context. Case in point, I would wager that Games Workshop here is like the old battered ladies on Facebook responding to accounts, saying that they're actually Jesus Christ who's looking for $50 so he can start the rapture or something. John Della Raz didn't talk about the leaks of Space Marine 2 specifically, but regardless, context in this situation doesn't really seem to matter. And that's unfortunate and also very stupid of Games Workshop because they are harming people with these strikes. I hope that John can turn this around and get rid of the strike because obviously it's not good for your channel. It's the unfortunate reality of content creation because you have to be so careful with how you word things. Because if you have certain keywords in your title, it will actually lead to your videos getting limited ad review or no monetization at all. Which I get it, hey, you probably don't want your YouTube network having thousands of videos with like, I don't know, racial slurs or vulgar language in the title, I get it. But if you're going to be issuing strikes like this, at least do your diligence and make sure that why you're striking someone is justified or not. I mean, Nerdrotic also got copyright striked by Amazon, it seems, when it came to reacting to the Rings of Power Season 2 trailers. Suspiciously, both Nerdrotic and John's strikes, they came from Amazon itself or companies affiliated with them like Games Workshop, which is very weird. And if you ask me, when companies strike people for watching trailers or reacting to them, that's kind of beyond stupid. Because isn't the whole point of you having a trailer for something is so that people can watch and interact with it? Wouldn't you want people to react to your trailer for your upcoming product? It's literally free promotion, plus any publicity is good publicity. Even if Nerdrotic is crapping on Rings of Power, it still brings the series to more eyes, does it not? But circling back to Space Marine 2, this is kind of what I mean. Whenever I see companies striking people for reacting to their content that is made to promote products, it's It's so ass backwards. It's like those people who say on social media, "I'm sad," and then when you ask them why, they say, "Don't worry about it." Like, you know what? I hope your day gets worse, actually. A company striking people reacting to their content meant to garner reactions? That is beyond stupid, dude. And Games Workshop doing this to people talking about their game is really dumb. I get it that they strike him if John, for example, just went through all the leaked documents and he was showing gameplay cutscenes or the ending of the campaign prior to it being released. But he didn't do any of that, so this is obviously wrong. As for the activist cancellation story, yeah, there's a developer who was working on Space Marine 2 who is from Russia, and they think that Ukraine belongs to Russia. Of course, players found out about it, and they are still trying to cancel him for it. I did a whole video about that a while back and what this dev said about Ukraine and Russia, and it's just like Rachel Zegler with her Free Palestine comments too. Case in point, if you're making something meant to be sold like a game, movie, etc., it's probably not a good idea to voice your opinions when it comes to anything that is politically charged. Especially when it comes to wars and which side you're on, because all you're going to do is divide people and just cause more problems for yourself. And the product that you're working on will likely suffer because of it too. The best thing to do would be to just work, make the thing the best it can be, just release it and then enjoy. Or I guess you could go the Rachel Zegler route or the Saber employee saying that Ukraine belongs to Russia. Those comments will and have pissed people off already. Although saying that Space Marine 2 should be cancelled or this dev is fired is also dumb as well. Freedom of speech allows people to say things, even if you disagree with them. I mean, there's plenty of morons on the internet saying stuff all the time, and it's their right to say those things. I say dumb things too sometimes. I even get stories wrong from time to time as well, here or on Twitter as well. The point being is that free speech exists so we as a society can interact with one another in a civil manner. But as soon as you say that this person must be silenced because I don't like what they have to say, yeah, no, then we have a problem, guys. That being said, I don't think the Russia-Ukraine dev controversy will derail Space Marine 2 that much, and I think YouTube and Games Workshop were wrong to strike John Delaraz or Nerdrotic the way that they did. It's not okay, it's a blatant misuse of power, and by using my free speech, I can say that it's wrong, and they should reverse these actions. As for the future of Warhammer, it's good to know negotiations are still ongoing, and I really am looking forward to that secret level series. But remember how I said earlier being overtly political can lead to your product suffering and causing backlash? Well, let's look at this other game that sadly exists, and it's called Dustborn. It's a game that looks so bad you really have to see it to believe it. So this game is 100% made by activists. And the game stars a band of very diverse individuals who are fighting against the Republic, which is supposed to be conservatives, I guess? And the animations, everything in this game, it just looks like ass, dude. I don't know how else to put it, it just looks horrible. There was also this part of the game, which is the opening, I assume. I don't know, I will never play this slot, but anyways. The game opens with the band, which is known as Dustborn, singing a song for a Republic soldier to tell them who they are. And hopefully me including this clip won't get this video copyright strike. If it does, and I end up removing it from the video, I apologize in advance. But I will include it in the original version of this video. Anyway, please enjoy or suffer the opening song of Dustborn. Please watch.
We're the aliens. We're the refugees. We walk among you. We're right behind you. Time is past. Your kind won't last. We're the Dustborn. This bug is airborne. We're the newborn. Our kind is newborn. We're the Dustborn. This bug is airborne. We're the newborn. Our kind is newborn. We're the Dustborn.
That was different. You make a living doing this?
We're a bit rusty, and it's been a long day.
Yeah, sure thing. By the way, that song could be considered offensive in the Republic. This isn't Pacifica. People here don't like politics with their entertainment. What's your band name?
We're the Dustborn.
Yeah, that was horrible, wasn't it? Dustborn having lines like, "We're the refugees, we're the newborn," and saying they'll replace you is insane, dude. This game is 100% communist propaganda psyop slop of the highest caliber. This is the kind of game your woke social studies teacher shows you while smiling the entire time because they think it sounds and looks amazing. And you're just sitting there waiting for the sweet release of Lady Death to come whisk you away from the cringe that you're witnessing and being subjected to. Apparently the game is already out and it's not doing very well, and that's an understatement. It also has a 67 on Metacritic, which frankly feels too high based on what I've seen, but this is still abysmally bad. And then the user score, I mean, yeah, it speaks for itself. Also, if you go on Steam, the game currently has a player count of 62 right now with an all-time peak of 76, which is, yeah, that's as bad as it sounds. This means on Steam anyways that the game is indeed flopping and doing horribly sales-wise. Actually, how much is this game making? Let me see. Holy crap, this slop is $40 Canadian at release. Okay, they really are doing horribly then. This means if we take the highest player count, of course, there could be more that own the game, I guess. But let's just say for this that the maximum amount of people that bought it was 76. That means that the game has made about $3,040 Canadian before taxes so far at release. Which, if you know anything about games, this is abysmally bad, and the word financial failure doesn't even quite begin to describe it. Because this game definitely costed more than it made, but good lord is that bad. One user on Twitter replied to my tweet about this game and revealed that Dustborn is apparently government funded by the European Union, which does not surprise me considering how Europe is very quickly becoming more unstable and overrun with immigration. Which in hindsight, now the theme song of Dustborn makes way more sense saying "we're the refugees," cause yikes dude. It's also published by Quantic Dream, which is a studio that did Heavy Rain, Beyond, Detroit Become Human, and the upcoming Star Wars Eclipse game, which is also apparently in development hell right now as well. So maybe the sales of this game doesn't matter if it's government funded, and in actuality it just kind of exists as actual communist propaganda in order to push a narrative that is being designed to make people more willing to be accepting of refugees and immigrants in their countries, I guess? But then at that point, wouldn't it make more sense to make the game free then so more people could be exposed to your weird woke ideology? And isn't it anti-communist and actually pro-capitalist to put your PSYOP behind a $40 paywall? I mean, the whole thing kind of stinks, and I do find it hilarious that despite the fact the game panders to identity politics, even then reviewers couldn't review the game well either. It's like they know deep down, despite the message, that the game still is total ass cheeks, and I just love to see it. Speaking of communists, let's finish with Batman and PC Gamer, who had their article titled, "Watch a latex-clad billionaire punch out poor people in the debut gameplay trailer for Batman Arkham Shadow." Yep, you heard that right. PC Gamer's journalists are yet again putting on their social activist vests and their commie hats and saying that Batman is an awful person because he's white and punches poor people. Oh yeah, Arkham Shadow, by the way, is a VR game, so don't get too excited because believe me, finding out that they made a new game in that universe and it was VR, that was beyond disappointing, to put it lightly. Here's what PC Gamer had to say about Arkham Shadow. The first ever gameplay trailer for the upcoming Batman Arkham Shadow appeared at Gamescom's opening night live showcase tonight, giving us our first proper look at the upcoming VR take on the adventures of the most therapy-averse billionaire in history. The new trailer focuses on exploration, dialogue, and of course plenty of fisticuffs as the world's greatest detective whomps the living hell out of dozens of flunkies and underlings on his way to ensuring that nothing ever really gets better in the bleak, crumbling metropolis of Gotham City. A corrupt system has failed you, the villainous Rat King, at least I assume that's the Rat King, says at one point. Are you not angry? Fight back. The man has a point, right? If your life is an endless swamp of futility and hopelessness, and the best the people in power can offer is a sock in the chops from a guy dressed up like a flying rat, well, I think I'd be a little angry about things too. So now we've reached the point where PC Gamer is saying that Batman is awful, capitalism bad, and we must use the white man's billions to save society from white people. Very cool, PC Gamer. This is actually why I love your guys' website so much. I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan because it's like a bunch of lunatics got out of their cells and they somehow found the staff room at their local asylum, and then they all just kind of logged into their account and they just started saying stuff online. Because if you told me this article was written by a woke commie who lives with 5 roommates and is probably in a polyamorous relationship, I would not be surprised one bit. But sadly, we reached the point where does any of this surprise us anymore? Warhammer's owners copyright striking people, or Dustborn singing about refugees, and Batman being attacked for being a billionaire who fights crime? I mean, of course they hate Batman. They would rather have crime just go unpunished. Then again, these are the sorts of people who, when they get mugged or have their car stolen, they go, well, that person probably needed it more than I did. They'll be bleeding on the sidewalk with a shiv in their ribs, dying, and they'll go, well, at least I'm not racist. Just continue to bend your knees further, PC Gamer, and please keep making more slop like this, because you make my job so much easier when you do it. Maybe you guys can make fun of Superman next because he's white as hell, but be careful, he's also an immigrant because believe it or not, white-skinned people can be refugees too. I know, wild, right? Maybe sit down and think about that for a little, or don't, your brains might burst open. Anyway, that's enough for today. What do you think of the nonsense? Let me know. As always, thanks for watching, subscribe, and all of that. Thanks to my patrons and members, and have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.